Hello guys, welcome to InfoSuggest channel. This will be your first ever video to be uploaded. Here we present you all the main topics related to coding and latest technologies. We will upload videos on the topics that are important or on which students find difficult to understand. In this particular video, we will try to understand about functions in C language. So let us first understand what is functions. So guys, let us first see what are functions. So as you can see right here, functions in C language. Functions are the block of statements that performs a particular task. This is the definition of function, and these are mainly divided into two types, and they are first one, built-in functions. So built-in functions are those functions which are defined in the library already. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is just call it to be able to access it. So examples for built-in functions are printf or scanf. And now we'll see about user-defined functions. So user-defined functions are need to be defined manually, and they are further divided into four types. We'll see them later. Now let us see the main requirement of functions. So as I have mentioned here, the main requirement of function is the code reusability. It gives us or provides us the advantage of accessing the same code multiple times, which increases the conveniency. इसमें हम एक ही कोड को मल्टीपल टाइम्स यूज कर सकते हैं। ये फंक्शंस का एक मेन एडवांटेज है। Now let us see the types of user-defined functions. So the types of user-defined functions are mentioned over here. As you can see here, with arguments, with return value, without arguments, without return value, with arguments, without return value, without arguments, with return value. You might get confused a little here, but no need to worry. We'll do every example in all of these types to understand clearly. And all of you, I can assure that you will get an idea about these all types of programs. So now, without further ado, let us get started with the function prototype. The 3 points that are mentioned here are a part of function prototype. First one is a function declaration. As I mentioned here, it tells the compiler that how many parameters a function requires and what kind of parameters that it returns, and also that the function takes what kind of data type. All this information is given in the function declaration part, which is a part of function prototype. Now, secondly, function calling. When it is triggered, the control of the program is shifted to that function definition and it is executed. So when the function call is triggered, the program, the control of the program is shifted to that particular function's definition and it is executed. So now the last part is the function definition. It is the part of code where the statements are written for executing a particular task. So all the code or statements are written in this particular part, which is called as function definition. Without these three, a function cannot be completed. So अगर आप इन तीनों में से एक भी पार्ट भूल जाए तो जरूर आपका कंपाइलर एरर थ्रो करेगा. If you write a function without any of these steps, your compiler would definitely throw an error. You have to consider all these 3 points. You don't need to worry about it right now because we are going to do coding and implement all these function related programs by which you will get a deep idea and understanding about all the programs about the functions. So right now, so without much time, let us get started with our code. Here is the Visual Studio Code. Now I'm gonna create a file that is named as function. The reason that I'm giving it as .c is because we are going to do coding in C language. So the first line is including the header file studio.h, and now I'm gonna give a main function where the control is gonna start from. So now I require two values. The program that we're gonna do here is addition of two numbers using functions. Now for addition of two numbers, I need two variables of integer type. So I will declare two variables of integer type, that is a and b. So now I need to take values for the variables a and b now. So for that, first I would print a message. For printing a message, we need a predefined function which is printf, as you all know. So I will write printf. I will display a message just to enter any two numbers. Enter any two numbers, isn't it, guys? So after this, I will require another predefined function to input those two numbers into the variable. So that function is scanf. And since both of the variables are of integer type, I will take format specifier as percentage d again, because I am taking two values at a time. And here would be ampersand a, ampersand b. So this particular line over here will read two values of integer type and store it into the variables a and b. All right, we are done with it now. So now into function part. For function part, first we need to declare a function, right? So first I need to specify what kind of data type it's gonna return. So the first kind of function that we're gonna do is void return type. It returns nothing, and then followed by function name. Function name would be just sum, since we are adding two numbers, and we are giving parameters as int once. Here you can give the variable name. It's just a declaration part. It depends upon you if you want to give the variable name or not. But you need to define what kind of what kind of data type you are going to use. So this is just the declaration part. And now we'll go to definition part. Function definition right here. So for that we need to again write the void followed by the function name and then the parameters. Here is the definition of the function. So for definition now, we need to implement the logic of adding the two numbers. For that, we would require an extra variable for storing that result into those variable. Now, we'll take that variable as c and put c is equal to x plus y. This is so simple right here. We're just adding two variables and storing it into another variable. And now, as we are not returning anything, we'll just print the value of c. So for that, we will require a predefined function printf and the message to increase the readability of the code. Now, the function would be the sum of percentage %d and percentage %d is percentage %d. Why are we taking these many percentage %d's? Why are we specifying these many format specifiers over here? We'll discuss this again. See, for now, I would give the values for all the format specifiers. Here would be x, y, and c. Why did I do this? Let us get to understand. This particular percentage %d is for the value of x, and this particular percentage %d is the value of y, and last is for the value of c. So right here, all these format specifiers are specified in this particular sequence. This will follow from x to y to c. This will print an appropriate values which are corresponding to x, y, and c. Alright, now we are done with the function definition too. All we need to do is now call the function, isn't it, guys? Without calling the function, you can't really implement the code. So now for function calling, we need to give the function name, which is sum, and then you need to pass the parameters, right? So now for that, we'll give a and b. These are my parameters, and then it's almost done. But here we have specified this main as integer type, so it will expect some value from the main function. So for that we'll just return 0 So the code looks fine. So let us now run the program over here. Everything looks fine. Run code. See, as I expected, it is printing enter any two numbers. Now I will print the number 6 and 9. It would return 15 without any errors, and that's right. So now let us get to know what is happening since behind. First of all, it would include all the header files required for the program, and then the cursor would move here. Void sum. This is the function declaration part. So the compiler would know in front there would be any function with name sum, which is returning nothing, void over here, and it is expecting two parameters of integer type, which are x and y. All right now, then next thing is the control would move over here in main. So the execution of the program will start from here. It would allocate space for two variables, that is integer type a and b. Then this message is confident as expected, and here it will expect two integers from the user, two integer values from the user, and then here this part is the function calling. So from the function calling, the control is directly shifted from function calling to the function definition part over here. So here control would go and it will take two parameters. Here we have passed it and it will catch those two parameters, and these are the copies of these two values. The copies of those two values are being received over here, and this part is executed, which is the logic for adding of two numbers. And then what we are doing is just printing it. So what are we printing it? The sum of x and y is c, and then it would return back to the function calling itself. So that's it for now, guys. In next video, we are going to talk about formal and actual parameters. We will differentiate them, and also the call by value and call by reference topics. You would get a much more idea about it. So let us meet in the next video. Take care.